You know if you're attracted to someone within the first 5 minutes of meeting them.
Fuck me. You're listening to Fucks Given, a guide to first dates.
I'm gonna burp.
Hello,
when you
Reed.
said that. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Yeah.
Keep that in.
Hi,
Reed.
We just had the... Hi, Florence. Hello. We're a little bit stressed out because we've just had like 40 minutes of technical issues when we had already spent this afternoon sorting out the technical issues. Sometimes technology just does not want to do what it wants you to do.
Technology sucks. And I guess, like, I was going to say it's harder with me on the other side of the world, but I just don't think that's true. I think it's probably just the exact same problems as we always have.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, if you were in this country, it would still be the exact same problems, really.
Yeah.
Let's
take a deep breath. Together. Let's take a deep breath and cleanse ourselves for this episode. It's all going to be great. No more technical issues. Just getting into that LA frame of mind.
In it. Where do you find dates, and can you get a date anywhere but apps?
We've spoken about like the meet cute idea on the podcast before. And oh my God, Reed, I know that we went back on the meaning, but I heard someone else define it in exactly the same way that we did define it. So like, really? I feel like maybe it's been like meet cute is just a TV term, but I think now people have adapted it to mean what we said it meant, which meant meeting someone in real life.
Yeah, organically, without apps.
Organically.
Yeah, I mean, language changes all the time. It would make sense. So yeah, maybe we should just stick to meet cute.
I think we should just own it. Just own that meet cutes do exist outside of dating apps.
They are rarer, but I think that's because we're finding it harder to put ourselves out there in person. It's scarier these days because we rely and we fall so heavily on dating apps.
Yeah. And like I'm not gonna lie, like I find all my dates on dating apps. I like the only date that I have had not on a dating app was with the Viking guy who I met at your party.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's the only way you can really, I mean, you're more likely to meet someone, to have a meet cute, if you're going to events and parties where there are more people there. But it's... Yeah.
Or like the random time where I met that motorbike guy on top of the mountain in Calabasas.
God, stop. That's the meet cute.
That is the meet cute. And like we started chatting on Instagram after that, and it could have potentially gone into a date. So like it happens. Also, I feel like I've been in loads of situations since moving here where I'm like in the grocery shop or sitting at like a little cafe in Silver Lake or whatever, and I'm looking around and I'm thinking, damn, there's some hotties out here.
But also there are always hot people walking around, right? But it's whether or not you're opening yourself. It's whether or not you're opening yourself to see that, and if you see someone hot, not to just go, that person's hot, to actually make the first move to go and speak to them, or to get noticed, or to, you know, just be upfront. The best thing you can do is just, I mean, I love it to pieces, where it's like, hey, you're really fit, and I wanted to ask if you were single. That's such a simple line. Oh, come on, man. It's so good. You get such like a fucking thrill.
Yeah, you're adrenaline drunkie. I don't know. Like, I feel like you could start a conversation. So I was sitting in a cafe yesterday and I was waiting for my friend to arrive. And in the meantime, two guys sat next to me at the table. And I felt like if I had wanted to, like, I could have just, like, started a conversation by, like, oh, do you know, like, what's good here? I'm, like, new to town. Or, like, you know, you could easily start a conversation about something random with a stranger. Like, even in the grocery shop, like, oh, could you reach that thing for me at the top of the shelf? Or, like, you know, there's ways you can, like, start the conversation. And if I feel like if someone thinks that you're hot also, they'll take the bait and like continue chatting.
I don't know, because I don't think necessarily. How many times have you chatted to
You don't
somebody,
think?
thought they were hot, and then they've, the signs haven't been clear or they've been oblivious? I think it's different for women where we're basically
Yeah.
terrified that every bloke coming to talk to us is hitting on us. Like even in the
Yeah.
fucking gym today, I was like, I can't tell if you're being nice. Like, are you gonna hit on me? We've been set up. That's the way that we see the world. It's so different the other way around. It's so like, I feel like, and this is a
Yeah.
stereotype and very generic. Women have to be way more obvious about it to men.
This is actually very true.
Sometimes they do pick up on the hints, and they're like, oh, she said hello to me, therefore she must want to fuck me. That's fair enough. That's like a whole different thing, but it's rare to
Yeah.
find. And also, it's the guys that don't notice it are the ones that you most likely want to be with, because they're not like fucking looking for a fuck at any second they can.
I've been talking to a few people on dating apps recently, and I feel like there's almost quite a significant difference between the ones that I like haven't really like fully like made a committed date with, or like to the one that I actually did go on and went really well, which could be kind of signifiers of like what goes, like how should it be going at the beginning. And I think what was really important was actually like having interest expressed. Like, you want to be like, I really want to go on a date with this person. Like, I think they're super attractive, and like I want to chat to this person. There needs to be like an enthusiasm for that. Otherwise, it like never happens. And you just don't meet up, and like you put it off and you put it off, and like if you're putting it off, it's like, well, you can't really want to do it that much if you're like changing your mind and like pushing it back and like replanning. Like, just if you would make it happen if you really wanted to.
If you really wanted them, yeah, you would make it happen. Like, no excuse. It's almost like if you're not, maybe it's this whole idea of just people are listening to themselves more, and if it's like, because it's such like a toss-up between, oh, give it time, let it settle, go on 3 dates and see how you really feel. But it's also like, we don't have to settle anymore. We can just like go for something and wait for something that is truly worth our attention.
For me, I feel like I know straight away almost. Like, by the end of the first date, I will know if it was good or not. And I won't need to like have another date to find that out.
It's supposed to be that mad fact where it's like, if you're attracted to someone within the first 5 minutes of meeting them. Something like that. Yeah. And it's like, that is very true. But I think we also push and put ourselves and like force ourselves to go on, to stay through dates or to date longer than we should have, because we're desperate to find love and company and that like that idea of being with somebody and marriage and kids. That's basically what we've all been told like makes us worthy as people, which is so messed up. But we put ourselves, that's why we ignore red flags as well, because we're 100%.
Just like, and
maybe it'll be different.
What I find really wild in my process in the last week was kind of getting to LA and being like, oh, I don't really know what I want anymore. Like, things are a little bit different. And I kind of had in my mind, and I had this like almost this manifestation thing on my lock screen on my phone, which was like, I'm creating the relationship I want by standing in my truth and setting my boundaries. And whilst that was like really great to have on my lock screen, on Friday, I was like, actually, I changed it, and it was a lot more like, I choose to live life in love with myself and my own life.
Yeah.
And
nice.
That was the day where I met someone that was actually nice.
Well, we've gone through the prefix on getting a date. So what happens when you're on the date? What is it like when you're on a first date?
Oh God, the anxiety, the feelings, the nervousness. I really hate, like, the what is it? The anticipation of dates is really like bad for me. Like I always feel super nervous about what to talk about because I overthink what I'm going to talk about before.
Oh, yeah.
But I think what's really important is actually just to go in without any preconceptions of like what to discuss, because I feel like it just comes up naturally, and that's the best way to do it, rather than having like a set of conversation topics or things that you want to ask.
Oh my God, yeah. Because that's what confuses the situation. You have to believe in your autopilot and trust yourself to do right in the middle of the situation. And if you do wrong, if you mess up, if you say something stupid, then, you know, that's okay. Like, have a laugh about it. Yeah, I think for the most part, first dates are terrifying. I remember my sister saying, she was like, I hate first dates. I just want to, like, jump in on a situation, like, 10 dates down the line. And I was really, like, really was a massive eye-opener for me.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same way. Exactly the same way. I'm just like, I just want to be comfortable with you already.
Yeah.
But I think that's also, like, when you can, thing is, you can feel that on dates. Mm-hmm. Like, after, like, the first hour or something, like, you can feel comfortable already. And that's when it's, like, a good date, right? I feel.
It's like pushing past the uncomfortability.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can feel really, really comfortable. I think a lot of it could be to do with, like, again, like insecurities, anxiety, social anxieties. There are so many factors that could be putting you off doing that first date, but you're never going to get a partner. You're never going to get the thing that you want without that first date. You almost need to have it. So it's almost like that radical acceptance of, okay, fine, let's do a first date, and it's okay if it's shit. Let's just go for a shit first date. Get out of the way with.
Yeah, but then also, I feel like you have the power to put yourself in a date that's going to work for you. So, like, if you don't drink, then don't go to a bar. Like, if you don't like sitting in front of someone at a bar, then don't do that. It's kind of boring. Like, do something fun, do something interesting that you're going to have something to talk about. Like, the first day that I went on the other day, he was like, oh, I don't drink, so maybe we shouldn't go to a bar. And I was like, how about we go and sit in silence next to each other for about 2 hours and go to my favourite cinema? And he said he was down, and I was like, that's a really weird first date, because obviously you're both sitting silent next to each other. But it was like such a good bonding experience, because we watched this crazy film and we were both like baffled, like motion sick, and like laughing and being like, oh my God, like throughout the whole film. So it was like such like a bonding experience without having to have like the awkward, we're sitting in front of each other and we're learning about each other for the first time. So we had like an activity, and now going forward, like we have this thing to talk about as well, because we experienced something together.
Yeah, I mean, cinema can be a great first date, and if it works, it works. Even if the film is shit, it can still be great. You can still laugh at the shit film.
Yeah.
Same with walking. Like, you know, after lockdown, when everyone was going on walking dates, they were so good, because you're standing side by side.
Dates.
Yeah, and you're not necessarily looking at each other in the eye, in the face. It like takes away a lot of that awkwardness. It's just about being creative on your first dates, I think. Oh my God, like, what is it? Mini golf. Mini golf is great. You've got something to do, something to keep you busy. You don't have to stare in front of each other. Same with like what is it? In like darts, Flight Club in London's amazing. Bowling's great. Shuffleboard, mini golf. I thought I was going to hate mini golf, and I had the best time doing mini golf.
Arcades. Yeah. There are so many things you can do. Let's just... I saw a Vice article that was like saying something about let's ditch these activity dates. Like, we just want to like have a drink. And it was basically about like going back to the basic date, and like that's what we should do. And I saw that article and I was like, what? This is the furthest away from what makes a successful first date. I want to talk about what happened on my date.
Okay, all right. Okay, let's go. What happened on your date?
Segue into personal stories.
Seamless segue.
Seamless segue. So yeah, we had like a really nice evening of texting back and forth before the date, and then we like decided to do the date the next day. So this is all very like, you know how we've spoken about before, like don't long it out.
Yes, thank you.
Big factor. So like texting the first night, booking in a date for the next day, going to the cinema, having like a really good like chat sesh before the film started, and then by the end of the cinema being like doing that thing where you're like, oh, shall we touch arms, shall we touch shoulders? And like, and then he actually did invite me back to his after the film. He was just like, would you want to come back to mine?
Hello.
And I am still like a bit jet lagged, so I was just like, I think I want to go home because I'm really tired, but I really appreciate the offer. Like I would really love that, but maybe another time. And then we got into the lift and he put his arm around me and we just had like a really like easy first kiss in the elevator up to the car park.
Nice.
And it was just really cute. It was really cute. And then we said goodbye by the cars, which was so weird. This is just such a weird coincidence. This is like a massive car park block. And we parked our cars separately right next to each other.
Okay, that is kind of spooky. All right, I'll give you that.
Super spooky.
Yeah.
And then we just had like a really lovely kiss by the cars, and he was so sweet, and he was just like, wow.
Oh, those are the things that make it a nice date. Someone like being very engaging and sort of almost like letting their guard down. I feel like that's what makes a date special.
Yeah.
Is just seeing like a glimmer of not just this like I'm a person trying to be fucking cool all the time. It's such a turn off. Yeah. It's just like
it was so refreshing to just hear nice things, like so like compliments, and just like being like, even the way that he was just like, would you like to come back to mine? It was just so easy. It didn't feel forced in any kind of way. And I honestly left that date grinning so hard. And I like had just the cutest little drive home where I was just like singing to music, and I just had that like warm, like fuzzy feeling inside, and I was just like, that was very unexpected. Very unexpected.
Yes. It's when it makes you realise that all the other dates have been shit and like forced and awkward or uncomfortable. When you finally walk away from a good one, you're like, okay, right.
Yeah.
That's a good date.
Yeah, very, very sweet. And we had like a cute little text when we got home. And the next day, asked each other what we were up to in the day, and we decided to hang out the next day. Immediately.
I love that. Absolutely. It's perfect timing as well. You haven't spent too long like, you know, creating the idea of somebody through text or somebody like faking the person that they actually are. You've met with each other really quickly and it's been successful, and then you've just hung out casually the next day too. That's so nice.
Yeah, because we both woke up and we were like, oh, I want to see you again.
Yes. Oh my God, love the same page action. So
and it was very sweet. We went out for lunch and then we went to the beach, and there was a sunset, not planned. Had a little smooch by the sunset on the beach. And then we went back to his. There was like a roaring fire in his bedroom. I'm not even joking.
A roaring fire. I'm dead.
I'm setting up the romance. His place was fucking amazing, and he's into like nerdy shit that I'm into, like Pokemon stuff, gaming. He does Twitch.
Yes.
So good.
That's cool.
And we had sex. Well, hello there, YouTubers. Hi.
Hey, curious fuckers watching us on YouTube. Just to give you a word of caution, this episode has been edited for YouTube safety purposes. It's basically like the safe for work version.
Lame. So if you want the explicit stuff, you better go back to your podcast apps, Apple, Spotify, and go listen to us there for the full episode.
Yes, you won't be disappointed. And then just come back here to watch us. Woo! Oh, wait, that's too much. Gonna have to blur that out for YouTube. Shit.